Did you watch? Did you watch All Out at all?
Yes, I did.
Did you watch it on? Were you there, or did you watch it on the on pay-per-view?
Yeah, I watched it on the link that I have. Boom.
Let me ask you this: I heard JR was kind of burying the work.
He was very jokes.
Is that accurate?
One of my favorite words, as surly, right? Yes. Surly right. Dave Meltzer.
Right.
He was being very surly. I'll give you one thing where I popped because it was almost, I could almost hear you and me going, who? But there's a part. There's a part of the show where they do that blackout and Orange Cassidy shows up and the place goes absolutely nuts. And the two best friends, Beretta and Chucky T, they're hugging him. He looks like a star though. And Jim goes, "Who is this?"
Yeah, and
that I popped because he was thinking the same thing. A lot of people that don't know who the fuck he is are going, "Who?"
Yeah,
right. And he goes, "Who is this?"
And just to in context, what people were saying about him being surly is, he said, "Who is this?" And then one of his broadcast partners, I don't know if it was Excalibur or the other guy, goes, "Well, it's Orange Cassidy." And then that's all he says, and JR goes, "Oh, I know that, but tell the people who he is." Like he kept getting irritated.
I tell you what, this is what was very funny to me, that when that Orange Cassidy came out, right, he got a humongous pop, and I was thinking, well, he hasn't really been on TV anywhere that I can think of, so this is like a social media guy. Yeah, wait a minute, but at the same time, when Tully Blanchard came out, they knew who he was. And when Arn Anderson came out, they super popped. They knew who he was too. Mm-hmm. So it was just, they are knowledgeable fans. This is just a new star that they're making. Where did he get big, Joe? Just like on the...
Bro, let me stop that. Let me stop you right there. Let's define star.
I did say with the star. I said he got a humongous pop, right? So when you come out and nobody's ever seen you before, it's the first time you come out. 10,000 people are popping for you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they obviously, bro. No. This is not 10,000. See, this is where you guys are. You're getting caught up like the rest of these the AEW.
Bro, just so you understand, I don't read what the fuck AEW fanboys write. So when you talk about that, you're talking to the wrong guy because I don't read. Tweets, I'm not on message boards. I'm not on nothing. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing this guy going into the ring, and he's getting a massive pop by a very large audience.
But then you're obviously not understanding that audience. That audience is there for these are like the AEW family and friends at these shows. Like they haven't had TV yet. They haven't had nothing. So these are the only people that know anything about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's and the thing is, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Is that these guys, these fans, like think this Orange Cassidy is a star. And he gets a huge pop and they play. And when really his gimmick, I've watched some clips of him, some interviews. It's Have you seen his interviews, Joe?
No, I saw him one time do his thing. I was watching WrestleCon from last year's WrestleMania weekend. And I've seen some clips, but no, I haven't seen him do any interviews, whether it's out of character or whatever.
Well, here's what he comes across as to me. Okay, he's cosplaying a cool guy.
Yeah.
Okay, like he's trying, like he's not cool, which is why he resonates with these fans because they're not cool, and he's trying to act cool, and they're like playing along with that like they think he's cool, but he does. There's nothing really cool about it. It's like he's like a parody of a cool guy, and it's not. You can tell like people that this is the thing. It's like I was thinking about this the other day. It's like professional wrestling. If you're a promoter or you're starting a company and you're looking for stars, okay, this is where I would look, and I'm sure Konnan would probably agree. Okay, you're looking for like a bunch of decent sized guys that are athletes that don't mind getting in fights and bang a lot of chicks. Okay, that's ultimately what you're looking for because those are the qualities that basically resonate into stardom. Okay, and like I don't see that with like hardly anybody on that roster. You know what I'm saying? I see like a different type of professional wrestler, and it's drawing a different type of fan. And like, did you see what I'm getting at here? Like the road I'm taking here, Konnan. Did you is there any truth to that?
A little bit, but at the same time, I also understand that if you can't find a guy that's cool and is talented, then you just find a guy that isn't cool, but he is talented. So
Right? Oh, no, of course. No, I'm saying,
at the end of the, bro. And what's happened is that, and I don't say this in an offensive way. I just say this matter of factly. The business turned like to a bunch of tough, carousing. Like when you first got into wrestling, right?
Right.
Like when I first got into wrestling, they tried to get me to quit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they because they didn't want no pussies in the fucking wrestling business. Now everybody's trying to make money, so they want as many people as they can in their wrestling class, and they don't really make them go through anything that's going to make them quit because they don't want to lose no fucking money.
Right.
And it's like when I went into the fucking boot camp, bro, you had 3 months to weed out the pussies, the bitch-made motherfuckers from the real soldiers, and they weren't out there. They were out there fucking humiliating you. They were out there pushing you to your limits. They were out there trying to break you psychologically because they didn't want no babies in the fucking military. I can guarantee you it's very different now. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine what boot camp looks like now.
What would be funny?
You don't want to be sued. You don't want to be publicly shamed. You don't want to be demoted. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So now we treat everybody with kid gloves, and that's why they come out like pussies.
Right.
A lot of them.
But I'm saying there's just a general feel when I'm following this online, seeing the clips of the show, watching the clips on YouTube and everything.
But here's another thing you'll agree with. 80% of the people that are in the business right now, even the podcasting guys, everybody, there's no way they could have hung with the mentality 20 years ago.
Oh, no way.
So fucking brutal, cutthroat, fucking in your face, politically incorrect, a lot of just political games bullshit, but the business has changed. It isn't like that anymore. Here's
where the business changed. The business changed when somebody from our era, went into and they built a performance center, and they made a guy like Bill DeMott their head trainer, who is from an old school mentality and stuff. And thinking you have all this new generation of people breaking the business, and they thought they were treated too rough by him.
Right.
A lot of prominent guys in the business.
Luchasaurus.
And it's like they've been allowed to grow in this business in a different culture than we did.
Right. Let me ask you a question. Who did you say complained?
Luchasaurus was under NXT WWE contract, and he.
Okay,
well, you got a bunch of you. Luchasaurus, Joey Ryan, Kenny Omega.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who is the guy that trained you? What's his name? Disco.
Steve the Brawler Lawler.
Okay, Steve the Brawler Lawler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was trained mostly by Rey Mysterio Sr. and like a whole bunch of old school guys.
Right.
Can you imagine those guys? I don't even need to have met Steve Brawler Lawler, but I know where he comes from. Can you imagine these guys having to train with the guy you trained with? Bro, they wouldn't even be in the business.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Steve was a pretty tough, MFer, right?
Right.
And they didn't really, the thing about me is, I don't know why, but like it's like they tried to rough me up a little bit.
Right.
But saw that I was like kind of tough, like I could take it. Like you hit me hard, I'll take a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't see the way I work. I take a lot of bumps. I say, what I'm saying? I don't mind getting punished. You know what I mean? They tried to do that, and they saw that I was kind of cool with that.
Right.
And I was learning everything at a very rapid rate. So it's like, it's like he's trying to rough me up a little bit. You try to make him quit, but then it's like, Jesus, this guy's pretty good. It's like I don't want to make him quit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like. The culture back then
but let me ask you a question. But you specifically weren't put through the ringer as much as others, but you saw like how Sarge ran the power plant.
Oh yeah.
Like other trainers of that era, how they ran their schools, bro.
Right. And so this is what's happened. You make a perfect point. It's like you couldn't, wrestling had a lot of like a very, not specific guys, but like probably 75%.
Right.
When we broke in, we're kind of like tough guys.
Right.
And the other 25% were just having workers, whatever. But like, the tough guys would try to like, like here's the thing. If there was like, if you did a house show and there's a battle royal and the Steiner brothers are in the battle royal, okay? Seriously, like we had a few of these, right? And you're like, fuck, you know that they've got their radar on a few of the guys. Like, hey, we're going to, so they have got a predetermined plan of who they are going to rough up in that match.
Yeah.
And you don't know who it is before you start, but you know you could be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you go out there and the Steiners are just they're holding you down, forearm in the back of your, different people up and but it's like, it's like you knew that there were bullies in the locker room that were there to keep everybody tough. You know what I'm saying? Because if they try to pick on you and try to make you quit, and you do quit, it's like, well, this guy wasn't built for the wrestling business. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like we've taken that bully culture out, and now it's kind of an inclusivity culture. It's like, so the thing was, it's like, back when we trained, or back when people broke in, and probably like a little bit before I broke in, is they would, because I believe you broke in before I did, they would try to make you quit, rough you up and make you quit. Okay? The point being was you only wanted the people that could persevere through that and work through it. Those are the people that had the heart to do it and excel and progress and make it in the business.
Right.
It's like these days, it's like, first of all, who's training? And you look at these guys and some of their attitudes, and it's like, well, hey, I want to wrestle. Sure, come on in. You're a wrestler now. Hey, let's train. Let's teach you how to do this.
Right.
As opposed to like, hey, you want to be a wrestler? All right, you gotta be pretty tough to do this. We're gonna see how much you want it.
Yeah.
And it's like now you just see, it's like you can see by the way that
and that's exactly what happened with me. Like when I went, I had concussions, I couldn't walk, I was dizzy, I had fractured my ankle, I had fractured my hip, and I was like, I didn't know that you were trying to test me. I just thought it was part of training. My mentality was, because I went with two other guys that were in the military. My mentality was like, you're not going to break me. I want to do this. And I think after a while, they must have been like, because I used to finish working on base at that time. I was on short duty, so I would finish working on base and I would go train. So they must have been like, this guy's in the military and he's driving after work here to train. I don't think he's quitting anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Because I just wasn't going to be told no. Right. But it was a different, and I don't get mad when I go, look, in the performance training center, look at all these anemones they have, and I didn't have it like that, and my ring was really hard. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, and it has changed. Now it's very easy to get in, and you get a lot of guys that, they're a byproduct of society, and you got to watch how you talk to them, and they're easily offended. They're very sensitive. And they're doing a lot of stuff that we never would have done in a wrestling ring. A lot of like, and it's like, and there's stuff there's stuff in our era that we did that 20, 30 years before, they must have been thinking, what the fuck are these guys doing? Right. And it's going to continue to happen like in everything else. But here's the only problem. And this is what, like, the way they're doing it. It's like, bro, what happened to all the TV viewers? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and look at what happened to the fans that popped with like a lot of energy and used to pop on the punches and stuff. And now the fans are all respectfully applauding the spots, clapping, and I'm like, that fan base became younger and they have different ways of, cheering. They want to cheer saying this is awesome. That's how they cheer now. 20 years, they might be telling everybody to go get fucked. Who knows? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I can guarantee you 20 years, the product can be way different than it is now. It isn't going to stay the same. And I think that's one of the things that I do like about wrestling, even though there's a lot of shit I missed. I like that it's constantly evolving. Yeah. So what did you think? We were talking about this. JR was burying people were saying that JR was burying the word. And the funniest thing about it, bro, you knew this would happen because let's be honest, this AEW fans are a lot of triggered. We're talking about this, and you made a very good point there, Joe, when you said that he was like, who is this Orange Cassidy? And then he had to kind of remind him because basically JR's throwing to the guy. Who is this Orange Cassidy? Oh, well, Orange Cassidy happens to be, and he wasn't saying anything, and probably, he's like, hey, motherfucker, do you want to explain to the people who this guy is?
Giving you the opening here to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and these people, like all the AEW fanboys, are like trying to like they're complaining about JR's announcing. He's like, look, JR announced to massive audiences, so he kind of knows like the things you need to do to narrate and interact. So it's like
best ever to have done it, bro.
So when you see JR being critical of things that they're putting on that TV, critical of the product, that's JR saying to everybody that's listening, hey guys, that's not really the best course of action to take if we're going to be going on national television. You know what I'm saying? I think JR understands that.
You should appreciate his honesty, and it's refreshing. It's almost like when we hear Joe Rogan sometimes when he's commentating, he's very honest, and that's good. That's why I like Dana White. Like he'll say, even though sometimes he's a little bit over the top, he'll say, hey, that was a bad match. This guy's never going to fight here again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he ain't afraid to bury his own product, which in the wrestling business we're afraid to do or receive any sort of criticism. And I always tell that to them in AAA. Let's be honest. They're seeing it. When we lie to them, they know it. Just be honest. Say, hey, it wasn't a good show. This didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Dana's been really good at that,
Yeah.
We've talked before about whether or not having, JR on or whether announcers can draw viewers. But I can say as a viewer and a fan that if JR wasn't calling AEW shows, I would be less likely to watch them. So, I mean, that's one person that's...
Well, I'm kind of interested to watch now because I like the fact that he's like kind of shooting on the guys out there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? To me, that's interesting because you wouldn't think that they would put something like that on, But bro, it's like JR's coming across as like the adult in the room.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because the product, I'm sorry, it comes across like the way these guys are working, some of the spots they're doing. It's like